welcome back to my channel. I am back after just a little break with episode number 2 from the series on manifestation and the law of attraction. And as you can see by the title, today we're gonna be talking about thoughts. Is it really true that our thoughts create reality? And if so, how? This is a topic that I am so excited to be talking about because I know that even though there are many people who have tried the law of attraction before and have tried to apply these manifestation concepts into their daily lives, but they have still failed to get the results they desire, which can be a little disappointing, right? We have all been there trying to think about this thing that we want, or this relationship, or this career, or this anything really. And although we have put so much thought and energy into it, we have yet not gotten that desire. So if this situation resonates with you, in this video I'm gonna teach you how you can manifest the reality you desire using the power of your thoughts. So if you're interested, then keep on watching. Before filming this video and before even creating this series, I kept thinking about how can I best help people understand and apply these concepts into their life? How can I help people understand that they are the creators of their reality? And because we are a logical driven society, I thought that the best way to start this is by presenting some factual information, at least from what we understand it to be from the third dimension reality. So this is what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be presenting a more scientific based information that can be proven with thousands of brain scans, thousands of brain tests and information in general. So this way people can have something to grasp on. They have some hard information that they can cling on to further understanding how and why this works specifically. And the first thing that I want to mention is the law of attraction, because I think that for many of us, the first introduction to this new way of thinking was the movie The Secret. And there's actually also a book of it. But at least for me, that was my first introduction to these concepts ever. But the issue with the law of attraction is that the creators thought to simplify the manifestation method so much so it's very easy to understand and apply for so many people. And so they thought the best way and simple way to explain this is thoughts create reality. But the truth is that it's just a little bit more complicated than that. And the truth is we've all been there, right? We've all been focusing so much thought and energy into something that we wanted to create into our lives, but the results just were holding on appearing. They were not there, which can be really discouraging for all of us, right? But there is a very specific reasoning behind this situation. And so the first thing that I want to talk about is the story that you tell yourself. And if you have been following me for a while now, you have probably already heard me talking on the channel about the story that you tell yourself. And I'm gonna be explaining why this is so important. If you have seen my video about subconscious programming, you're already familiar with the fact that until the age of 7, our brain is still developing, our nervous circuitry is still being built. And until that age, we are like a sponge that we just keep absorbing all information happening around us. And what happens is, if those subconscious programs that are being installed because we watch mom, we watch dad, we watch grandma, we watch our teachers at school, society around us. And if those concepts, those programs are self-sabotaging programs, are self-limiting beliefs, what's gonna happen is that when we grow up, that keeps self-sabotaging and replicating the subconscious programs further and further into our lives. And it's like a process of just keep putting layer upon layer upon layer upon belief system that just keeps reinforcing that subconscious belief of self-sabotage. And so this might be also the reason why you're having such a hard time grasping these concepts that you are the creator of your reality. This might be also why you're having trouble manifesting, because you have a subconscious belief that keeps telling you and that keeps driving your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions towards self-limitation. Because you have been programmed to believe that in order for you to be happy, you have to wait upon this specific situation that has to happen outside of you. Because you have been programmed to believe that you have to work hard in order to have your dreams and desires manifested. And this is why the story you tell yourself is so imperatively important, because it drives your whole life experience. So how do you realize the story you tell yourself? You start observing your thoughts and your reactions. Start observing the way you react when things start getting difficult in life. Observe your thoughts when you get angry. Observe what bugs you and how you react when something bugs you. Observe your thoughts in the morning, because actually our thoughts are about 80% when we wake up in the morning to the day before. So we just keep repeating the same thought patterns. We start worrying about the same things that before when they're not there. Our mind is just a record of the past. The reason we have this mentality of past, present, and future is due to our memory, because our brain stores that information and it just keeps replaying itself in our heads. So if you wake up in the morning and you start having the same thoughts, the same reactions, the same feelings, it is therefore logical to think that you're gonna follow the same course of action, which is gonna end up manifesting more of the actions and results that you already have. And when you do this, at a certain point you're gonna realize, every time I get angry, I always say that it doesn't matter and I'm gonna give up. And when you do this for a while, you start becoming conscious of the subconscious. But then when the fire of the situation goes away and you calm down and sit alone with your thoughts, you realize, but I didn't really mean that. I don't want to give up and I don't think I'm a failure. But this is still the information that you keep feeding your subconscious every time something goes wrong. Then guess what? This is the information that you're programming your subconscious to follow. And so what's gonna happen is that every time something gets difficult, you're gonna feel like you're not worthy of it, that you're not good at it. And even if you get a new job, for example, or a new opportunity, it's gonna be your mind and that belief of I'm not good enough, I better give up, is gonna keep self-sabotaging you. So my advice for you is just pay attention to where your thoughts are going. Are your thoughts fueling growth habits or self-sabotaging habits? So this is actually a constant process of reprogramming and rewiring your brain, because at this point it's not something you're even aware of. So you have to keep breaking the habit of being yourself. Keep becoming aware of the things that keep getting you stuck to where you are right now and start acting differently. And I honestly see so many people doing this every single day that keep further manifesting their pain into their lives because they're just not willing to let go of their pain because they have gotten so used to it by now. And they just keep carrying the burden of their reality with them. They just keep carrying their story as a burden. And so after a while of analyzing yourself and observing yourself, you start realizing, well, this is where I keep self-sabotaging myself. This is what keeps me down. And once you're able to pinpoint exactly the thought pattern, because it's gonna keep repeating itself, once you're finally able to pinpoint those specific thoughts, you can then work with them and start retraining your mind to think differently. And at a certain point, it doesn't even matter where you find yourself geographically, what kind of people you have around you, what kind of information you're around, because it's your personality, aka your ego, that keeps pulling you back. And so if, for example, I ask you, hey, what's going on? Why are you upset? And you answer to me, well, I met this person and he said so and so and made me upset. Or this situation happened and it made me upset. What you're actually saying is that that person or that situation or whatever it is around you in your environment has total control over your life, has total control over your emotions, over the way you think, over the way you feel, and over the way you act. Because you're not even aware that there's a possibility and a chance for you to deal with it and change the situation. But you are simply being the victim of it. You are the victim of whatever happened that made you feel that way. So now all your control is outside of you. And the same thing happens in a positive situation. So let's say it's the opposite, that you're happy because so-and-so happened. The same concept applies. You do not think of yourself as having created that positive experience. It just happened to you. Therefore, you are the victim of something positive, when in fact, it's not something that made you feel upset. You were already upset. What happened outside of you was just a situation that triggered that sad feeling inside of you. And it's not the positive experience itself that made you happy. You were happy already inside of you. You just needed something to trigger that happiness. When you finally take the conscious decision to shift your thinking patterns and questioning how were my thoughts influencing my feelings and the way I react to my environment, you then start thinking more as the creator of your reality instead of just being the victim of it. You start questioning how did you create that experience by your thought patterns, and how can you actually shift whatever's going on in your life right now by shifting the way you're perceiving, by shifting your thoughts. I'm sure you have found yourself so many times in a situation where there is a negative emotion going on. You're having a negative emotion for some sort of reason, which makes you think thoughts equal to the way you're feeling. So you're having negative thoughts because you're feeling in a negative way. And this is an automatically fueling action. You think according to the way you feel, and you feel that way because you have a correspondent thoughts. And so the reason I'm telling you this is because each and every thought has a chemical reaction in our brain. That chemical reaction is called an emotion. That emotion is gonna make you think differently, therefore you're gonna act differently because you now have a new perspective. And this can be proven by so many brain scans on thousands of volunteers whose brain waves have been recorded before and after having this change in their belief. So this situation has been recorded and analyzed as it was going on. And so what they found out is that by changing your thought patterns, by creating new ways of thinking, you literally give birth to new neurons inside your brain. You create new connections inside your brain. Now, different parts are communicating one with the other in ways they never used to do before because they didn't have that nervous circuitry. And by having these new connections in your brain, you're gonna be able to be conscious, to become aware of opportunities and events in your life that you were simply not able to before because you didn't have the brain processes able to sustain that. And this is why your thoughts literally create reality, and therefore literally rewiring and reprogramming your subconscious mind if you do this often. And now we're talking from a scientific based perspective. So you see, to change your personal reality, you have to change your present personality. And this is why so many people say that positive thinking doesn't work. And they think that, I've been trying to do this for so long and I did not get the result I expected. It did not work for me. And my response to you is you are absolutely right. Why? Because it's not just about thinking positively when you're reinforcing brain circuits are fueling a totally different perspective. No matter how positively you think, you're still gonna get the same result because that's the program that's driving your reality. So it's not that it doesn't work for some people because it doesn't have the possibility to. Everybody can do this if they do the internal work. It's not just a temporary thing. It's like if you had a bowl of mud and you keep pouring a cup of water. You're gonna feel fine, better temporarily, but all that negativity that you have in your subconscious is still gonna be there. And so you have to keep doing the work and don't make it be temporarily. I meditated this morning. I feel fine, then I can go on with my day by being wired in the same self-sabotaging beliefs. No, you have to keep pouring water and keep pouring water and keep pouring water and keep working on your subconscious until you change that program with one that's focused on growth, on development. So when dealing with a negative situation, you cannot answer back at it with the same negative thoughts and emotions. You cannot answer to it with negativity and separation and hatred. Why? Because that's the exact consciousness that created the experience in the first place. And so you have to raise your consciousness above it. Because if you're constantly living in survival, driven by the stress hormones and driven by the fight or flight system, you are further creating separation and limitation in your life. When you're living under the fight or flight system, it doesn't matter what good opportunities you have in your life because the stress that you're living under is literally gonna blind you from any good chance you have. What the fight or flight system actually means is that primitive self-defense mechanism that we have. It's your mind telling you, hey, there's this danger going on in your life. Let's say there's a wild animal following you. And so your brain starts sending signals to your body to get in self-defense. And so your heart rate goes up, your blood starts pumping because it's sending your blood to your legs and hands because you have to either fight it or run away from it. At this point, all your energy and attention is being focused on your outer reality. You have to pay attention to where the wild animal is to be able to save your life. You're not running away from a wild animal. You're running away from the belief system that keeps you under stress. You're running away of what you perceive your problems to be. And now all this energy that you've been building up has to go somewhere. So it's eventually gonna be manifested in your body as some sort of pain. And you might be wondering, well, I feel really tired all the time, or my head hurts, or I just don't know what's wrong with me. Because this high amount of stress and energy from being always in survival is not gonna leave you with enough energy for your internal programs. You're not gonna have your body in homeostasis because you don't have time and energy to self-regulate and to bring your body back into balance and healing if you have to be constantly running away from the burden of your reality. So you see, your thoughts can literally make you sick, and they not just make you sick, it's also gonna affect any other areas of your life. And it's a situation that I see happening with so many people, especially when you meet somebody new and they start telling you about themselves. People identify so negatively with their story because their subconscious program is dictating so. We have had installed this program that says there's something in your life that needs to change for you to change and see your life differently, when it's actually the opposite. If you keep waiting for that something to happen in your outer reality, but you're gonna be driven by the same thoughts and the same way of reaction, you're gonna now get stuck in a loop because it's the exact opposite. You start changing yourself first. You start changing your thought patterns first. You start broadening your perspective and raising your level of consciousness, and then your outer reality is gonna follow. So it all boils down to that victim or creator mentality, which now you've seen how it can literally affect your life physically. So when there's chaos being created in your outer life, it's because it's reflecting the same chaos and incoherence that you have going on in your brain, neurologically speaking. And I think it's amazing that these things can be finally proven to a certain degree, right? You can look up to a certain branches of science and see how there's people doing the work for us to evolve, for us to better understand these concepts and try to find the proof that our logical mind needs to raise to a greater level of awareness. I'm gonna stop here for now. Thank you so much for watching and being here till the end. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. See you on the next time. Light and love.